coverage of high school volleyball. Tonight, a Section 6-3A semifinal match between the number 3 seed, the Wayzata Trojans, and the 2nd seed, the Hopkins Royals. Hello and welcome to Benilde St. Margaret's High School. John Jacobson, along with Spring Lake Park head coach Joy Johnston. And Joy, always a fun time of year when you get to section play. This section is terrific at the top. Top 4 seeds, Eden Prairie just beat Minnetonka in a 5-set thriller in a match ended a few minutes ago. And now the second semifinal. These teams pretty equally matched. This will be the 4th time they've met this season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good matchup. Hopkins has won 2 of the matches, and Wayzata just won 1 against them. And so I think they're really evenly matched on offense and defense. Hopkins
has a better overall record, 23-5 on the season compared to 20-8 for Wayzata. But you mentioned the last time these teams met, final match of the regular season of conference play on October 14th. Wayzata won that one. That gives them a little momentum coming into this, although they did have the MEA break, as Scott Jackson mentions, that kind of broke their momentum a little bit. They came back, won their quarterfinal round match, but they've got that memory of beating Hopkins fresh, and so they've got the confidence that they could do it again here tonight.
Yeah, they definitely have that, and even the match before that was a really tight one that they had a lot of upper hand opportunities and opportunities to win the match. So that gives them a lot coming into it, knowing what they can do, knowing what the weaknesses of Hopkins are and how they can take advantage of it.
For Hopkins, I think they're still a pretty confident group, though. As I mentioned, they've won 23 matches, included a 19-match winning streak that was snapped by that loss to Wayzata. But Vicki Swenson said she thought that loss maybe kind of helped her team refocus a little bit, so they're ready to go here tonight.
Yeah, a loss will kind of do that to you, especially those seniors and those ones that are kind of playing their last season in high school. They want it real bad, and they're going to go out and fight for it and not let anyone get in their way.
Let's look at our key players, starting with Wayzata and one of their seniors, Tia Dilly-Starks. Really played a strong match against Benilde St. Margaret's in the quarterfinals, and you need that senior leadership this time of year, don't you, Joy?
You do. It's huge because those players have been here before. Those are the ones that have gone through sections and maybe made it farther, and they're the ones that kind of have a little bit of that confidence coming in and want that desire and drive a little bit more. They can lead those younger players and help them along.
For Hopkins, you know, we've talked for years about Samantha Selliger-Swenson, their senior setter, who's going to be going to the University of Minnesota next year. But the next big thing for Hopkins volleyball is sophomore Jazz Martin. She can jump out of the gym. Very highly recruited already as a 10th grader.
Yeah, she's incredible to watch. She's so much fun. Her jumping abilities, the way she can contact the ball and put it almost straight down. She's growing so much still, and it's just amazing to watch her hit.
Again, the winner will take on Eden Prairie in the Section 6-3A final Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock here at Benilde. We'll take a break and come back and start this one. Wayzata Hopkins Section Volleyball next on Channel 12.
12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Second semifinal in the 6AA, 6-3A tournament. Wayzata and Hopkins, 3 and 2 seeds as the players are being introduced out on the floor. Eden Prairie defeating Minnetonka in the first semifinal. There's a look at the section bracket. Eden Prairie, the 1 seed, and easy win over Edina, and then had to come back in the 5th set against Minnetonka. They trailed 14-11 in the 5th. Came back at 116-14 to pull out that match against the Skippers 3-2. Wayzata and Hopkins both advancing out of the quarterfinals last week to get to tonight's match. And then the winner again will play Eden Prairie Saturday afternoon. A good student contingent for both of these schools on hand here tonight at Padale St. Margaret's. These players have had to wait a while. We'll get into that in just a moment. So look at the starters, first of all, for Hopkins. Jazz Martin, Audrey Erickson, Greta Werner, Ruby Moreland, Ellie Mogg, Samantha Seliger-Swenson, and Ingrid Werner. And won't see much more than that from Hopkins. A little bit of Carissa Hilgers, maybe some Olivia Hawkins tonight, but they won't go too deep. Teams getting late into the season, they have lineups that they like and rotations they like, and they stick with them. The case for both of these teams. For Wayzata, Kate Berg, Tia Dilly-Stark, Sabrina Luer, Morgan Baufield, Elizabeth Benson, Mackenzie Greschel, and Riley Wilson. And Lauren Jagerson will play some, and that will probably be about it for Wayzata tonight. They look to take out Hopkins here in the semifinal round. Fourth time these teams met on the season tonight, as we mentioned in our pregame. Hopkins winning easily back in early September, and then they played in the St. Michael Albertville tournament for the championship, with Hopkins winning. Of course, those tournaments matches are best of three. Hopkins winning 2-1, and then Wayzata on the last night of the conference season, sweeping Hopkins 3-0. I was starting to say, Joy, that these players have had to wait around a little bit. It was a slated time start of 7 o'clock, which probably was a little unrealistic for the second semifinal. But with that match went a long time, started a little bit late, so the time is close to 8:15 here on this Tuesday. So both teams have been ready for a while. It's kind of hard sometimes when you're amped up, getting yourself ready mentally to go, and you have to wait.
Yep. Yeah, it is hard, and they've been here since I think before the start of the Eden Prairie match. They've been hanging out for a long time.
Well, we're ready to get underway. Hopkins will serve first. It's Wayzata in blue, Hopkins in black. For swing across for Wayzata for Kate Berg, handled by the Royals. Comes back to Berg again. She's led the team in kills this season, gets the first point of the match.
That's a huge point to get, and to get the ball back right away and have a start at leading the game and then getting the serve.
So, 1-0 for Wayzata. Sabrina Luer, senior, serving for the Trojans. Quick set, and the ball outside on the hit by Moreland. Couldn't get it down in play, and Wayzata has a quick 2-0 lead. Trying to dump it into the right corner. She did. That's an ace. And it's 3-0. Luer with the service ace. A good start for the Trojans. Ball goes to Ingrid Werner. They set it outside. Gilly Starks on the receive, and then the hit by Berg. It was a little bit long, and Hopkins has its first point of the match. Greta Werner, younger sister of the libero Ingrid Werner, serving for the Royals. We had a Hopkins player in the net, I believe, and we had the point for Wayzata.
Yeah, Hopkins isn't starting real strong. They're a little shaky, maybe a little nervous going into this since they just lost. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get it back right away or not.
Seliger-Swenson across for Jazz Martin. It's a good combination, those two players. Good set by Swenson, and Martin connects.
Yeah, just a nice swing by Jazz here. Just getting up high, getting on top of the ball, and putting it right in the middle of back where no one is.
Ingrid Werner to serve. Serve received by Riley Wilson there. Knocked over by Baufield. Good dig by the Royals. And Wilson can't keep that one in play, and it's a point for Hopkins. Royals back to within one at 4-3. Back set, Battlefield block, put down. Wayzata point, and Berg a couple of kills early in this set, Joy.
Yeah, she's getting a lot of good swings. They're obviously going to her a lot, which is key when that's one of your big hitters. It's like Hopkins was out of rotation, which you never want to see as a coach. You hate when that happens and just give a point away.
6-3 Wayzata. Good serve again by Berg at the middle. Swenson able to dump it over. Very dangerous. Great setter, but also good at the net as can attack.
Very aggressive up there.
All across to Dilly Starks down the line for a point. Senior gets her first kill of this match. 7-4 Trojans. Morgan Baufield, sophomore, will serve it up. Back set to Martin down for a kill. Martin, 312 kills during the regular season. A hitting percentage of .420. That's pretty
nice.
good.
That's
you're hitting the ball well.
Yeah.
You're attacking a lot and hitting the ball at a high percentage. Good dig by the Trojans, and the overpass knocked down easily by Audrey Erickson. Royals with the serve, down by 1. Set outside, Billy Stark, dug up by Ingrid Werner. Cross to Jagerson. Hit is handled, but then the overpass knocked down by Billy Starks and Lure. As you look at it again, easy play for those two. Billy Starks getting it down for the point. Elizabeth Benson serving for the first time. The team up by 2 at 8-6. Scramble for the ball. Baufield, they can't get there in time and get it over in free. And it's a point for Hopkins. So we continue to trade points here. Carissa Hilgers, senior defensive specialist, in. Over by Berg. Cross, partial block on the hit from Greta Werner. And Billy Starks trying to knock it through Erickson, but can't. And they cover again, and Billy Starks gets the kill that time. Hopkins couldn't close off the attack, and a point for Wayzata.
It's a very aggressive play by her to go back and swing hard again and go after it and use those blockers to her advantage.
Yeah, sometimes players will shy off a little bit. They get blocked once, and they're like, I don't know if I want to do that. She was aggressive on that one. It's a good serve here. Knocked over by Hilgers. Scramble at the net for Wayzata. Berg knocks it over, and another Trojans point. They lead by 3.
An aggressive play. It's definitely a ball you need to go after when it comes off the block like that.
Good play around the net. Trojan just set it for Berg. It's another kill. Biggest lead of the night for Wayzata. Look at the set again from Greshel. And the kill from Kate Berg.
Scott Jackson definitely want to keep Hopkins out of system, and they're definitely doing that so far.
That's exactly what he told us before the match would be the key for them trying to win tonight.
Yep.
And keep Selliger Swenson off the net as much as they can.
Yep. Keep her moving around and being more predictable where she's putting the ball.
Good serve for Erickson. Point for Hopkins. Pulls them within 2. Handled by Berg. Well, back to Berg again. Off of Werner and out. Ingrid Werner.
For a young outside, she's taking a lot of aggressive swings and definitely putting some good balls in the court.
Here's Lure. Ball at the net. That is a lift called, and the point for Wayzata. Excuse me, point for Hopkins to make it 12-10. And then the serve by Greta Werner. Berg down the line. It missed. Couldn't catch the corner that time. Royals pulled to within 1. That'll be an ace. We're tied up at 12.
It's a smart play. A lot of times the hitter that's just made a big error, to go back to them when they're in serve receive, they're thinking too much about the error they just made.
This time off, Dilly Stark is scrambled, but too far to run there for Wilson despite a good effort. And now a run for the Royals has put them up by 1. It's 13-12. Greshel to Berg. Got it down. Tied again.
It's a quick enough play that the middle for Hopkins didn't quite get there and read the set quick enough that she could get out there and get a block up.
Greshel serves. Long. 14-13 Royals. Ingrid Werner back in. She'll serve. Quick set in the middle of the bow field. Selliger Swenson setting, but the attack by Greta Werner into the net.
And if Wayzata can keep Hopkins out of system, you'll see a lot more of that, of hitters out of the back row and hitters that aren't necessarily comfortable in where they're at, having to take swings.
With Hopkins out of rotation again. It doesn't happen very often in a match, and to have it happen twice in the first set.
Yeah.
A little unusual, so it costs the Royals another point. Here's Jazz Martin. That'll be a kill at a point.
She just reaches so high that even when the block is there and up, she can just go right over them.
Berg's hit missed. Hopkins back in front. Selliger Swenson serving. Here's Dilly Starks, handled by Ingrid Werner. Attacked and stopped by Hopkins. Baufield slides over. Martin's hit into the net, but Baufield was there. Back set to Martin, off the block, a return by Wayzata. Well played by the Trojans defensively to turn back Martin, and a point for Wayzata.
really nice block. It was really good get writing on her.
Ball hit across, but wide on the chip from Jaggerson. You get the feeling this match could kind of go this way all night, don't you?
It could,
point here,
definitely
maybe
point for point.
maybe 3 points for one team, and then the other team comes back with 2 to 4.
I think so. I think they're pushing each other hard enough that each side is making errors, and that's what they want to do. They just got to string some points together when they get the ball.
Service error there gives Wayzata the lead and the serve back. Benson serving. And a player in the net for Hopkins, and 2 in a row for the Trojans to make it 19-17. And a timeout taken.
Neither team has really gotten into like a good system yet. Both sides are a little out of control, a little out of system in what they're trying to do, and so that ball just keeps going back and forth. One side gets a point, and then flips right back to the other side. So if one side can find their groove a little bit, that'll help them a lot.
Wayzata knocking out Benilde St. Margaret's in the quarterfinals, the 3 versus 6 seeds, and going in that match. And Hopkins able to advance, defeating number 7 seed Orono 3-0. Second time they have beaten the Spartans this season. We look at Scott Jackson, veteran coach for Wayzata, 16th year and handful of state tournament appearances. Starting in 2004, they were Class 3 runners-up back-to-back years, 2009, 2010. That was their last state tournament appearance. It was 4 years ago. Out of the timeout, the back set by Seliger Swenson. An attack in the point from Erickson. And that pulls Hopkins back to within 1. Hilgers now to serve for Hopkins. Billy Starks floats it over. Back set to Erickson again. Dug up nicely by Benson. Hilgers bump it up over by Greta Werner, and the ball drops. Just a little miscommunication there for the Trojans. And Wayzata gives that point away, and it's 19-all. Look at the ball go up,
That's
and
a
then
great dig.
they surround it, but nobody plays it. Hilgers, line drive serve is long.
A lot of serving errors in one set on both sides.
When you're coaching your girls, you want them to be aggressive on their serves. Does it a little bit depend on the game situation, or do you?
It depends on the game situation, but you definitely want to be aggressive. So if they serve too soft, then you're kind of just giving them the ball, and you don't really get an opportunity. So the more aggressive, the better sometimes.
And there we have another service error, and we're tied at 20. Audrey Erickson, a soft serve handled by Berg, comes back to Berg. Scramble for the ball, but Wayzata got a little bit out of system there. Riley Wilson got a hand on the ball, but really couldn't get a good pass up to the net. And Hopkins is back in front. Good dig up by Dilly Starks as they attack from Lohr for a point. Good hard swing by Sabrina Lohr, ties it at 21 as she serves. Ball goes outside, down the line for a point for Greta Werner.
Those line shots on either side can be really hard to read sometimes because you think they're going to be out, and then they just get that sliver of the line, and Yep, she was close. She was right there. She thought it was more out than it was.
All set to Berg. Good block by Seliger Swenson. The timeout for Wayzata. Look at that block again.
Yeah, right on her. Nice close block by Moreland getting over there, and that's huge. If you have a big right side blocker and you're going up against a big hitter, it's nice to be able to get blocks off of them.
Hopkins, a little late run here. They go up 23-21.
It's definitely a good point for them to be 2 points up. They have a little bit more control. If they can come back out and keep that control, that's what's going to make the difference if they win this set or not. For Wayzata, they've got to come out and try to get a side out right away so that they can stay in it and not let Hopkins run away with it right here.
Here's a look at Vicky Seliger Swenson, 19th year head coach. They've been in the state tournament in the past. Most recent, though, 7 years, 2007, their last state tournament appearance. I'm sure she would love to do it with her daughter as a senior this year to try to get back there. Now Wayzata gets a point out of that timeout. Berg gets the kill, and they're back to within one. Serve from Greshel, trying to tie it up. Ball that goes to Martin. Billy starts with the dig. Berg will push it across. Moreland across. Nicely played by. Oh, did they say that was wide? Oh, that sure looked like that was down. That was right in front of us. Sometimes we don't have a good angle on the floor, but that looked like it was in. But from that TV angle, it looks like it's out.
Yeah,
but
it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I thought it had dropped in. Well, they called it out, and that's what matters. And we're tied at 23. As we get another timeout, this one from Hopkins. Wayzata's come back to tie it.
Yeah, it's a good spot for Wayzata to be in, being down 2 after taking their timeout and coming back.
One more look at, again, from that angle, it certainly looks out. I thought from where Joy and I are sitting that it landed in, but we don't have a camera that can tell on that angle. Right.
Well, it's a good point for Wayzata.
Right.
Now, now it's battling for those last 2 points and trying to put it away at 25 and not going beyond in the first set.
Trojans looking to go back into the lead. Greshel, good serve. Set goes to Martin, got it across. Over to Berg. Her heel is long, not touched by Hopkins in the back row. Greta Wernick had dove after, but did not make contact on it. And Berg's hit is long, and Hopkins is in front here, 24-23. Hopkins up 24-23. Serve coming from Ingrid Werner as long. We're tied at 24.
That's definitely a serve you want to put in, no matter what. Maybe be aggressive, but not overshoot it, and just make sure that you're putting that serve in
put
the
the other team.
Make them work for it. Yep.
So tied at 24. Berg serving. Ball in the middle. That is down for a point. Olivia Hawkins, who just came in, gets the kill for Hopkins. Quick set by Seliger Swenson. Hawkins places it nicely deep. Now set point again for the Royals. Outside of Dilly starts for Wayzata. Tied at 25.
That's where you talk about that seniority coming into place, where a senior's going up to swing here and she just goes hard after it, where it could have been set, or the set could have been over. She would have missed that, but that's just that aggressiveness out of a senior.
And Hopkins goes back in front. Erickson off the set from Seliger Swenson, 26-25 Royals. Martin trying to close this one out. It starts. Back row handled by Werner. Back set. Dilly starts from the right side. Gets the kill.
You know, that's still an aggressive swing. It's not like her power swing, but something a little more off speed. She just roll shotted that right to the setter's side, and Sam wasn't just quite ready for that.
26-all. It's Benson serves for Wayzata. Good block by Lure, knocking back the attack from Seliger Swenson. And now set point for Wayzata. Lure and Dilly Starks might have been Tia. They actually got that ball, but they were both there. And it's 27-26 Wayzata. Benson trying to serve for the win. Cross to Dilly Starks and blocked at the net. Seliger Swenson, back set. Erickson got it over. Lure had her attack tipped back by Hawkins. Back into play, another back set this time. And back on the block by Dilly Starks. Good rally here at the net. And over, handled by Wayzata. This will have to be over, and it is. Dilly Starks, cross court, got it down for the point. And Wayzata wins the first set, 28-26. What a great rally that was,
barely
Joy.
getting over. That's an incredible rally to end that set on, that long set that went over. Just an aggressive swing there at the end to put it in, take that set.
Big one for Wayzata to get right out of the gate. Trojans 28, the Royals 26. We'll take time out and come back with more. You're watching the Section 6 3A semifinals on Channel 12. Wayzata takes the first set in the best 3 out of 5, 28-26. John Jacobson, Joy Johnston back here at Benilde St. Margaret's High School. And look one more time at that final swing, Joy, from Tia Dilly Starks.
Yeah, and a very aggressive swing, which is why that's how you want to win a set. You want to go out big. You want to fight to the end. There was some ugliness within that rally, but it was long, and they just kept fighting and weren't going to give up on that.
So Wayzata with the momentum going into the second set. We'll see how much that carries over or how long it carries over. Seems like, especially in this sport, momentum could change within a point or two.
Shifts
and
very
it's
quickly.
right back to the other team.
Yep, depending on, you know, if you just made the big error or if you caused the big error, whatever it was, it can go back and forth real quick.
We saw Minnetonka in the match before this one down 2 sets to 1, and they won big in the fourth set, 25-11. The fifth set, and that fifth set was back and forth, but they were ahead 14-11. Looked like they might upset the top-seeded team, but Eden Prairie hung in there, didn't make mistakes.
They kept fighting.
And they were able to pull it out. See if we have another 5-setter here for the second semifinal. We are underway in set number 2. Into the middle, Lure will get the first point for Wayzata.
see a lot of the middles in the first set, and I know both teams have really strong middles, so it'll be interesting to see if they can get their middles a little bit more involved and active in their offense.
Off of Martin, it'll go as an ace for Wayzata. A quick 2-0 lead for the Trojans. It's kind of a floater over there. Martin unable to handle. Set outside, goes to Greta Werner. And Hopkins on the board.
It's that nice line shot again that really makes that middle back defender have to try to move and get there and then judge if it's in or out.
Mogul serve here for Hopkins. Ball across. At the net. Now Martin will try to set it up for Greta Werner. Back on the left side, and Swenson getting up.
Two nice blocks by Swenson. That second one, the hitter just came in at the right angle, so it just went right out of bounds.
See, Berg has had a big match already tonight.
Yep.
Gets the attack, and then the block goes wide. Good set to Moreland. A good block there by Moreland on the attack from Baufield. Swenson from Moreland down for the kill.
And there's the middles that we didn't see in the first set right there, really being effective right away. You know, and Moreland right there attacked and blocked and then came right back in and swung hard again.
Werner serving. Good dig up off the floor by Wilson there. That is another Hopkins point. They have tied it up at 3. Back set to Baufield, got it across. Scrambling on the floor, Greta Werner, and then nicely hit over by Audrey Erickson. And then Berg attacks and gets the kill.
That was a nice strong kill. She had pretty much an open net. Swenson was up there, but otherwise Moreland didn't make it there to close the block, so she just swung right in the middle of the court.
The Royals had scrambled to keep that point alive, but they couldn't really get themselves reset on defense after that. That's an ace that goes off of Erickson and out.
Hopkins is having a little bit of problems in their serve receive. Wayzata's serving pretty hard at them, trying to get them out of system, which is working for them right now.
Greshel, good line drive serve at the feet of Greta Werner. And it's 6-3 Trojans. Timeout Hopkins.
It's never good when you have to take your timeout that early in the set. You kind of want to save those until you get a little bit farther on and maybe have a little bit more of a crucial point. But when you're just went down 3 points based on just serving or in serve receive, a couple missed passes and then an ace right there, that's huge, and try to break that up right now, and hopefully a timeout will do that and then come back out and kind of regroup on their side of the net.
And sometimes those points are hard to get back. I mean, it's a lot of match to go yet, a lot of set to go, and you're only down 3 points. But 3 points early in the set are just as important as 3 points later.
Sometimes more important because you make some hitting errors later on. All of a sudden, those 3 points you lost based on communication errors and serve receive errors become far more valuable than later on in the set.
I think especially when the teams are as evenly matched as these two are.
Yep. Which could flip real quick here. With the first set, things were going back and forth very quickly.
Russell serves. There's another ace. Not much change there, did it?
No.
Great serve by Greshel. She's on the roll right now.
And here's where we talk about that momentum, that now Wayzata's gone up 4, and they get a little bit of that momentum and that confidence.
Martin comes back and gets the kill for Hopkins to make it 7-4.
Got a nice pass there by Werner, and then Martin just going up big and swinging right through that block.
Greshel set it for Berg through the blockers and down. Martin and Hawkins unable to close on that ball.
She was off the net and still was able to swing high and get a nice strong contact on that ball.
8-4. Ball to the middle, hit across by Greta Werner. Ingrid Werner digs that ball up. Here's Martin. And there's a point for Hopkins.
It's a great dig by Ingrid Werner, and then Jazz just used that ball and turned it and went right off the blockers.
Samantha Selviger Swenson with a good serve. Cross to Martin, taps this over. Foul field. Back set now goes to Billy Starks. Cross, Billy Starks and Hawkins. Each have a tap on it at the net. Goes to cross by Jagerson. Ball to the middle. And it'll be a point for Hopkins. Double hit called on the Trojans. 8-6. Cross to Billy Starks on the set from Greshel. Over by Greta Werner. And a point for Hopkins.
Just misread where she was on the court over there and thought she was deeper than she was and let that ball drop instead of making sure she knew where she was.
8-7. To the middle, Billy Starks. Hawkins got a piece of that attack. And a cross and a point for Hopkins. Erickson with the kill. They're tied at 8. Nice back set. Aubrey Erickson, good swing through the blockers and down. And a hit in and in after a good run of serves by Sam Selger Swenson. A service ace there, putting Wayzata back in front. Erickson had to rush to get to that ball after a missed pass, but kept it alive. Erickson attacking left side. Another kill for her. The senior with 2 kills the last 2 Wayzata Hopkins points.
There's a little bit of that senior determination to make sure that even though that servicing pass was way off, that she still went with it and got it back into play.
Serve for Martin. Lower from the middle, attacks and gets the kill. Trojans back in front by 1. Benson serves. Back set. Ball across. Good dig by Martin. On the middle roar. Snaps it across. Scramble. Too far for Martin to get to.
Not quite aggressive enough as an attacker, and then just kind of chaos after that.
Ball to the middle. Erickson. Ball dug up by Berg. That one goes long. A point for Hopkins.
Those are the points you're excited to get because Martin wasn't quite there. She was just kind of hoping it was out. And
Close, wasn't it? Another
yeah,
close
it was
one.
close. Luckily, that one got called out.
Serve for Hildrers. Back set for the attack from the rear. Dug up well by Hopkins and hit across. And sliding under the net there was Hildrers playing that ball. So the point for Wayzata. And Tia Dilly starts for serve. Set to Erickson from Swenson. Quick set in the middle. Ooh, but Moreland is there. Threshold. Got it across to Berg. Hopkins returning it, and the throw for Greta Werner.
Nice little unconventional play, you know, on that second ball. If you just try to send it over instead of setting it up, a lot of times the defense isn't reset, and they're not expecting that.
Serve for Erickson. Special for Berg again. (13-11) Trojans. Hit the floor for a point. Martin couldn't dig it up. So you look at Wayzata for this first set and a half, Joy. What have you seen from them that has impressed you the most?
They're serving. They probably have gotten at least 6 points now just off their serving, just on pure serve receive, and so that's huge. You know, we talked about Scott Jackson saying that he wanted to keep them out of system so that Hopkins couldn't run their offense, and that's what's been working for them. They've been getting a lot of points off that.
Hopkins gets a point back right there. Now it's 14-12 with serve from Warner. Front row. Martin blocked by Baufield. Morgan Baufield getting the block on Jazz Martin. Trojans done a pretty good job too, I think, on Jasmine Martin. You know, I've seen her play before where she can just take over a match.
Right.
Not saying she couldn't still do that tonight, but she hadn't had that long, sustain maybe like 3 points in a row, or she's kill after kill and just pounding them home, which can deteriorate.
And when Hopkins isn't passing well, a lot of times that's who they're automatically going to set. Even if it's a bad set, a good set, they're going to try to push it out to her so she can get a big swing on the ball. And they have known that, so they've been kind of moving over and adjusting to her and making sure that they're committing to her on that.
I'm going to get killed yet by one of these balls. That one's the third one.
Outside hitters are out for you.
Almost knocked me out. (16-13). Hopkins able to get a key point there to pull at least to within 3, but they can't seem to keep the momentum going. Wayzata, to their credit, they always come back and have an answer here this second set. This time it's Jagerson getting the kill.
Yep, just going right around Hopkins' block and right where the libero is, but she wasn't quite set and ready for that.
To Martin, and this time Jazz Martin able to get it off of Baufield, and Billy Starks for the point.
And that's what she's very capable of. Like, the block was there, the block is up nice and high, and yet she just went right off their arms and right between them, and that's what she's so capable of with that high jump and that high reach.
17-14, Wayzata. Wayzata has to scramble here off the Swenson serve. Now comes to Erickson, and you can see Wayzata just never recovered. Dilly Stark is still on the floor, and easy pickings for Audrey Erickson.
Oh,
She and Balfour
looks like, yeah, Dilly Stark
collided
and fell down and then wasn't quite ready for that.
Dilly Stark, this one's to you, Joe. The grab. 18-15. Hopkins a little bit. Weren't quite ready for that, it seemed like, and Wayzata gets the point.
Yeah, their serve receive is still just struggling and then trying to get the ball over, but obviously the blocker was right there.
Back set to Martin. Good block. Ball in the middle. Outside and over by Erickson. Attack by Greta Werner. Sneaks over. Wayzata unable to recover this time. Got that last attack, and it's 19-16. Royals looking for that run of points, trying to tie this one up. Give themselves a shot to win it, but then a service error on there by Martin floats one wide, and it's 20-16. Benson serves. All set in the middle, over by Erickson. Hopkins skill. Harvey Erickson played a strong second set here. Gets kill in the middle.
Yeah, it's nice to bring one of your outside right side, and have them come in and hit in the middle and draw blockers and make them move a little bit and have a little bit higher advantage of getting that kill.
Hilger serving. Bumped over by Wilson. Werner's attack, partially blocked by Greshel. She'll set it for Dilly Starks. Tia Dilly Starks her kill and make it 21-17 Trojan.
Yeah, she got the inside hand of Moreland. That just took her right off, and the defender just wasn't quite where she should be, and so that ball just ricocheted off into the court. Hopkins is definitely struggling a lot on serve receive. They've been making so many errors there, but even just other small errors, making hitting errors because I think they're trying to be safe and put the ball on the court, and so they're not swinging hard and they're not putting things deep where they could. Their chaos on their side is probably causing their lack of getting points right now, lack of being able to string those together. And Wayzata, this guy has the control over there. They're running pretty smooth even when they're out of system. They're still putting hard balls into the court and still trying to take advantage of every single time they get to touch the ball.
Wayzata won that first set 28-26 after falling behind 23-21 late. Come back and win that set, and then most of the second set they have been in the lead, up by 4 right now, and still with the serve. Tia Dilly Starks had a great match in the quarterfinals against Plymouth. Played very well tonight and gets an ace right there, and they're up by 5.
Serve receive miscommunications can just kill you on points if you're not ready for them.
22-17, this one long. We talked to Scott Jackson a little bit about Tia before the match. Said, she did play well against Benel, but a little bit under the weather, so he wasn't sure how she would come out and play tonight, but she's been very strong for them. As has Berg, who gets another kill.
Yeah, both outsides have been very aggressive, very effective. They're both going up, swinging big, putting the ball where the defenders aren't and trying to make them move, and right now they're getting the kills.
Lure serving. At the net, Swenson trying for the set a dump, but Benson ready for it. Nice reaction by her. Tip at the net by Moreland. Now it's Greshel setting back to Berg. 24-18, and it's set point. Lower serve. Came up high on Erickson. They're scrambled to get this one across, but the Royals do. Gresham, quick setback for Baufield. Over. Up to the net. And Moreland attacking. Good set from Sullivan Swenson. Will be more like pounds at home. Hopkins not done yet. Serve from Greta Werner. All across to Berg. Block. Moreland comes up. Puts her team another point.
That was a great block up there. Staying on them and staying aggressive right now. You always want your teams to fight to the end no matter what the score is.
Gresham back set Baufield. Dug up nicely by Erickson. Go across to Berg. Blocked this time by Swenson. Back set Baufield to try again. Another good dig from Erickson. Good rally here. Instead of trying to close it out. Baufield try again. This time goes straight ahead with her hit. Knocks it down. Wayzata is up 2-0.
Their middles were definitely far more effective for Wayzata in that set, and they were able to pull Hopkins' middles on blocking duties, which is what you really want your middle hitters to do. You'll see right here she went back, and Moreland's already going out, and so they definitely were one-on-one and had the advantage of that slide and moving her behind. And Scott Jackson mentioned that too, about trying to move their middles around, make sure they're not just hitting the middle, they're swinging behind, they're going and doing a bunch of different things to try to make those blockers move and give them that advantage.
Wayzata is up 2-0 in this best of 5, trying to knock off the number 2-seeded Hopkins Royals. We'll take a break and come back with more coverage of the Section 6 3A volleyball semifinals from Benilde St. Margaret's after this timeout.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
John Jacobson and George Johnston back up at Benilde St. Margaret's. The number 3 seed Wayzata in their 4th match against 2-seed Hopkins this year, trying to knock the Royals out of the Section 6 tournament. They lead 2 games to none, 28-26, 25-20 have been our scores. Hopkins, especially in that second set, Joy, compared to the first set, but even overall in the match, definitely made fewer errors than Hopkins. They're not beating themselves, and that's, I think, a big reason they are up 2-0, and they're forcing some of the errors for Hopkins. Hopkins doing some of it on their own, but Trojans certainly forcing the action as well.
Yeah, Wayzata's running things smoothly on their side of the court. They're making a few errors, but they're forcing Hopkins to make far more than they're making, which is the name of the game right there.
Ball set goes to Berg. Hit over by Greta Werner. Back to Moore. And a bang around the rafter. It's still in play. You can play it off that, and Hopkins able to play it well. But Berg comes back and finishes the play off with a kill.
Yeah, Hopkins stayed with it, which is what you want to do. You don't want them to freak out and not continue to play, but then they didn't quite get reset and ready for that next kill.
Ball returned down wide, and it's a point for Wayzata. They have started each game with the first couple of points of the set. Up 2-0 again here to start the third. Ball in the middle, almost not played at all. Finally, Ingrid Werner got it across. Baufield's hit is blocked. Here's Berg again. sophomore, really playing well tonight, Joy.
Yeah, she is. She's taking a lot of nice aggressive swings. She's being smart when she needs to and trying to hit the line or to go off the blockers, and she's just being a very effective part of this offense.
261 kills for her to lead the team during the regular season. Cross for Berg again, blocked back this time. Hopkins able to get the point, and they get on the board. Ingrid Werner serving, her team trailing by 2 sets to none and by 2 points early here in the third. With Berg, another kill for her. They haven't been able to defend her very well for the most part.
No, they haven't really adjusted at all. Really where Ingrid is too far in the court and she's hitting that sideline, so she really should be moving out and adjust to where she's been hitting.
It's served by Greshel to an ace. Mackenzie Greshel led this team in aces this season. She's had a number of them tonight. Had a string of them in the first set, now gets one here in the third. Officials conferring. I'm not sure exactly what the discussion's about, Joy.
I'm not sure either. I'm not sure what just happened, what they would be talking about. So I'm not sure if Hopkins asked them something or looks like Swenson's talking to the up ref, so maybe they're discussing something that just went on.
Well, whatever it was, it is over, and we are back in play at 4-1. Martin got it across. See if that gets Jazz Martin rolling here in this third set. Selger Swenson to serve. Long on her serve, and it's 6-2 Wayzata. Swenson back from Martin, who pounds it. Wilson able to play it though. Moreland blocked by Bowfield.
That's a great aggressive swing by Moreland, but that she just had her number right there and was right on her and straight down.
Back set, man. The attack from Martin. Missed wide. Wayzata point 8-2 Trojans. Berg to serve. Swenson. Moreland got that one down.
They definitely took advantage of a nice pass right there, going to the middle when they have the opportunity so that she can put a ball away.
Martin serves long. Boy, errors are just killing
So many
Hopkins.
errors. Yep. You don't want to work so hard to get the ball and then you just give it right back.
Either service errors or on the serve receive they've had some problems tonight. Greshel got it across for Jagerson. Now Wayzata scrambling a little bit till he starts it as long. Point for Hopkins.
So as a coach, when you've missed your last 2 serves, I would tell my server, whatever you do, just make it in, because you don't want to have another missed serve to have 3 in a row.
Hilger's up this time. That one is in play. Greshel to the middle. Lloyd. Attack down for a point. Where's played? I mean, all these girls have their turns in playing well tonight for Wayzata. It's the key. They have As a unit, all 6 girls, 7 girls have just played well.
Yep. And that's the hardest part sometimes. You get the individuals playing well or some not playing well, and then it affects the whole team. So it's getting everyone in sync and on the same page.
That went outside the antenna on the hit, and a point for Hopkins. Royals have some work to do, though. They trailed 10-5 here and down 2-0 in the match in the sets. Billy Starks. And a kill for the senior.
There's a huge hole in the block. She went right in between it, and Ingrid Warner just didn't adjust and pull up on that one.
Greshel to Berg. And that's off of Greta Werner and out.
Wayzata's outside has been so effective. They're just hitting that cross court and getting kills right and left.
Back row handled by Bautfield. Swiped over by Berg. Front row, Greta Werner. Bautfield, great dig in the back row to get that one. And Bautfield's hustle to get to that ball leads to a point. Timeout Hopkins.
Wayzata's playing so hard right now on defense and on offense. They're getting the balls that they probably normally wouldn't get to and getting nice ups on them, and then their offense is just being so aggressive and just putting hard swings in the court and putting them where they know that they've been getting those points. And Hopkins isn't responding as well as they probably should be and probably normally do. And so if Wayzata continues, they'll take this in 3 sets pretty easy.
Sometimes as a coach, there's not much you can do, is there? I mean, you can tell your girls what they should be doing, but one team is playing better than you on a certain night, on a given night, and you can't always stop the other team's momentum, even if you're able to make some adjustments in your game.
Yeah, and you can't affect your team as much as you would like sometimes. You try to say all the right things, try to tell them things they need to fix and change and work on, and sometimes you just are at a loss because you can't seem to make the adjustments you need to make and make the change out there.
(13-5), and the other thing here, Wayzata has built a pretty sizable lead now. They're more than halfway to 25 and closing this one out.
Yep, they're very comfortable where they're sitting, and it's Hopkins that are on the edge right now.
Lures attack, block. Good block by Hawkins, gets a point back for the Royals.
A nice block, definitely effective, and definitely a point they needed to win.
Serve from Greta Werner, handled by Wilson. Greshel across with Berg, taps it over. The blockers and down for a point. Floats it over the head of Hawkins. 14-6 as Lure serves. Swenson to Martin. Berg. Swings but wide, and a point for Hopkins. Ingrid Werner will serve. Over by Berg, got it off of Moreland and Swenson. Another Wayzata point. They're more than happy to trade points with Hopkins at this point.
Yeah.
Inching towards 25. Martin's attack is down for a kill. With team 8.
Hopkins definitely needs to get on a run here if they're hoping to stay in this and have a chance at taking this set. They've got to push points right here and not let Wayzata just continue to rack them up.
Back set and the kill from Berg. Dressel's done a nice job of setting tonight. Gets this one in a perfect position for Berg to get the swing. Quick set to Bowfield. Too strong on the attack there. Hopkins point. Royals need a run of about 6 in a row just to have a chance in this one.
Yeah, that'd be nice for them.
Off the rafters, Hopkins able to adjust and play it. Dressel back set. Teodeli starts. Now tipped by Hopkins. It's a point for Wayzata. I think Hopkins thought it had gone just off the net and not off a Hopkins player, but it was definitively called, and point for Wayzata. Set across for Greta Werner. Back set here for Dilly Starks. 18-9, Wayzata.
Defensively, Hopkins just doesn't look comfortable. They're not really ready, and they're not going for as many balls as they should be.
Berg's hit, partially blocked by Moreland. Back set, front row attack. Oh, and a great job by Hopkins, by Wayzata to rally to play that ball, and then Moreland's hit was off, and Swenson Wayzata somehow gets the point. Everything going right, and they able to somehow get that point. Jaggerson, the final player, to put it across, but there were 2 good hits right before that one to set up the point. And another Hopkins timeout as it sits at 19-9.
Wayzata's just doing everything right now. They're playing strong defense, they're getting to balls. When they're even out of system, they're getting there and then having big swings that are putting them in this position of being up by 10. And Hopkins isn't adjusting and isn't really staying with it. You can tell that they aren't playing together as well as they should and probably normally do. And so they've got to try to figure out if they can make some adjustments and try to shorten this lead right now.
More Section Volleyball coming up later this week on Channel 12. We'll have the Section 5 3A semifinals. Osseo against Totino Grace, number 3 and the number 2 seeds in one semi, and then Blaine and number 1 seed Champlain Park in the other semifinal. That's teams I know you're familiar with, coach at Spring Lake Park, and your thoughts on those 4 teams in those semifinals?
I'm excited to go watch both of them. I think the Osseo TGU match will be a very strong one. They went to 5 during regular season, so it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top on that one. And then, of course, the Champlain Blaine will be a rematch of the last section match. So it'll just be fun to watch. All 4 good teams from our section.
Jaggerson gets the kill. 20-9, Wayzata.
Yeah, there's leaving just enough hole in the block that those outsiders taking advantage of it.
So here's Swenson for Werner, blocked by Jagger, or blocked by Lure, and out in Hopkins point. Well, they have got a long way to go. Trailing 20-10. Hildreth's back in. She'll serve it here for the Royals. Scramble at the net by Hopkins, but they get the point. Swenson to Werner for the kill. Now Hilger's hoping to get a run of points. The senior DS. The team's still down by 9. There's an ace. To 12. Attack from the middle. Roar gets it back. Sabrina Lure. It's set to the middle by Greshel. Pounds it home. Swenson unable to dig that one up. Served by Wilson. Back set Erickson. Attack is blocked. At the net. Down for another point for the Trojans.
It's a great swing, and then it tried to recover. Wayzata just tapped it right back over.
That is off of Wayzata, point for Hopkins. Serve from Erickson. Berg's attack. That's Werner. Werner again, handled by Berg. Billy Starks up off of Ingrid Werner. Now Greta Werner again. Greshel for Dilly Starks. Point Wayzata. So many seniors on this Hopkins roster, and perhaps points away from ending their careers. You look at Samantha Seliger-Swenson's been a 6-year varsity player, and this could be it as a high school player here in the next couple of minutes. Maybe less than that. There's an ace, and it's match point at 24-13. Tia Dilly Starks has played very well tonight, and in this section tournament, trying to close it out for Wayzata. Into the net, not yet. Wasn't gonna be that easy, I guess.
Yeah, I guess not. Not with this match.
24-14. Greshel to Berg, blocked back at her. And Hopkins with a couple points in a row, 24-15.
Definitely not going to go down without a fight, and that's what you want to see, whether you're, up big or down, and keep fighting.
Greshel for Berg, not really in a position to take a big swing there. Does get it across. Set to Berg. Too strong. 25-16. Excuse me, 24-16. All over at the net, but Martin keeps it alive. Greshel set for Berg. Big swing. Long on the hit. 24-17. And Hopkins, of course, no margin for error. They have to hope that Wayzata continues to miss, and they can't make any errors. Berg one more time. That one's down, and Wayzata has won. And they sweep Hopkins for the second time in 2 weeks. And it's Wayzata going to the section final.
Kind of surprising that that's the way it went that quickly. I think when we started that first set, you really thought it was going to be back and forth the entire time. And then Wayzata just found some ways to capitalize on a few points and then kept pushing with that and took it. I think it's fitting that it was Berg, the outside, that's had multiple kills throughout this whole match and just was such a powerful outside and a very effective outside to finish it off right there for them.
Wayzata goes to the section final Saturday against Eden Prairie. We will take time out. We'll be back and hear from the Trojans in a moment. You've been watching coverage of the Section 6 3A volleyball semifinals on Channel 12.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams?
Here.
Michael Adams.
Michael Adams.
Students who miss 18 days of school in any grade risk falling behind and not graduating. Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And Shelter Pets make super pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a shelter pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Wayzata wins, and they will move into the Section 6 championship match Saturday afternoon against top seed Eden Prairie. Welcome back to Benilde St. Margaret's High School. John Jacobson with Mackenzie Greshel and Tia Dilly-Starks. And Tia, we'll start with you, the senior. Congratulations, first of all. What did you guys do well tonight to be able to sweep Hopkins, an outstanding team?
Thank you. I think we just played our game all the way through, and we didn't let anything get us down, and we just were consistent the whole game.
How much did it help beating them 2 weeks ago?
It really helped just because it helped with our confidence, and we knew that it was possible to beat them because obviously they beat us earlier in the season twice, and so it just really gave us that extra confidence to stay positive.
This reminded me of the first match you guys played against Hopkins in reverse, in that you guys were leading for much of that first set that night. They won, and they kind of carried that momentum. Tonight I thought, you guys were down 23-21 on that first set. You win that, and you seem to kind of carry that momentum through the second and third sets.
Yeah, it was pretty much a role reversal, just that the first time I think we were really overwhelmed by their fast offense and everything that they were doing, and we weren't really ready for it, when now we were used to it and we were ready and we knew how to combat it.
How much have you improved as a team since early September?
We have improved so much because our team is full of such talented players, and just what's really improved is our chemistry together and just knowing like each other's limits and how well, what circumstances each player plays well under. So we've grown together as a team more than skill-wise.
You're a senior. What does this mean to you to play now in a section final?
It's really exciting just because it's my third year going into section finals, and I'm hoping we can pull this win off this time.
Congratulations. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
Mackenzie Greshel, I thought your team played well as a team. I mean, so many of you came up with big points. Was that been the key to your strong play down the stretch here?
Yeah, we just stick together and keep a consistent game. We try to, and then that helps us. Yeah.
What was the game plan against Hopkins, and what was working against them tonight, did you think?
Just they're going to get their points, but no matter what, keep the energy and keep getting back, and big swings don't tip and get scared. So, yeah.
You guys had to wait quite a while to play this match because that first game went so long between Eden Prairie and Minnetonka. Is it tough when you have to wait and you're just anxious to get out here and play?
Yes, but the longer we waited, the more pumped up we got for it, and just got us really excited, the exciting match before us, so that helped us actually.
So you get Eden Prairie on Saturday for a third time this season. What do you expect from them, and what does it take to beat a team like that?
They're a good team, but we just have to stick together and just play our hardest and play to win, not to lose.
Not lose. I'm sorry. You guys feel confident now that you took care of Hopkins rather convincingly, especially in those second and third sets, that, hey, we can beat anybody?
Yeah, we've just improved so much over the season, and we're sticking together so much better now, and I think we have the ability to beat them. So
enjoy this one. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.
Kenzie Greshel and Tia Dilly-Starks, two of the reasons Wayzata is still playing volleyball. They'll be in the section final Saturday at 3 o'clock here at Benilde St. Margaret's, and the winner going on to state. That'll do it for our telecast tonight from Benilde. For Joy Johnston and all of our crew, I'm John Jacobson. Thanks for tuning in for our coverage of Section 6 3A volleyball.